I'm ready to do it.
All
I
right.
can't be afraid now.
We've got Mina Mustafic here with us. She's a podcaster. She's on Bitchin Wednesdays, correct?
It's called Mina's Bitchin Wednesdays.
Mina's Bitchin Wednesdays.
And it's a Wednesday. She's ready to
Yeah.
bitch it.
So one of the things that we're going to be talking about today, Mina, I'm glad you came on. But one of the things we're going to be talking today about is getting out of your comfort zone, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background before you decided to become a famous podcaster?
Wow. Well, if you subscribe on my channel on YouTube, my first episode, I tell my people about me a little bit. European, I am in my 30s, and I am a nurse for a living. So I figured that, I am very outspoken as it is. And so I have a lot to say and bitch about because people are just,
You're outspoken? Oh, interesting.
right? You would never tell.
Oh, yeah, I would never tell.
You could never tell. I'm very, But anyways, so I figured, there's so much that happens in the world and I bitch about it all the time. And then, my fiance got tired of listening and I was like,
By the way, I'm her fiance, so full disclosure.
I was going to say her fiance's an asshole, but that's nice.
yeah, well, And he's like, honey, please, I'm trying to work. Can you find another place to bitch? I'm like, actually, I can. It's called YouTube. So here we are.
Right. No, but seriously, you really had to work on getting out of your comfort zone and really being okay with doing it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember us talking a little bit about it, and it kind of took you a few weeks to really say, okay, I'm going to go for this, right?
Yeah.
So what was the trigger? What made you do it?
Well, it took a while just because I'm a private person and I don't like sharing my stuff for people to know. And I don't like being judged. I don't think anybody likes being judged, And so it took a while for me to be like, all right, you know what? It's going to be out there and it's going to be out there for the people to make fun of me or agree with me or disagree with me or, whatever. And so, it took a while, but I'm like, if I don't do it, then I'm preventing all these other people. The point of it is I want people to be on my channel with me, bitching about life, kids, husbands, wives, work, whatever. And the point is if I don't get comfortable, I can't get people to feel more comfortable either. So it was way out of my comfort
Right.
zone.
And just to be clear, it's called bitchin, not bitching. So you do some positive stuff too, right?
Right.
So kind of talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the end.
Keep
The
sweating.
end. What's up, Vanilla Ice?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Life doesn't have to be all negative. When we're bitchin', it could be an awesome bitchin' story. Talk about your podcast or your business or your like bitchin', whatever it is. And yeah, and if you want to talk about bitchin' awesome, bitchin' negative, bitchin' whatever, it's there. You can bitch in for everything.
Do you feel a lot of people are kind of like held short of actually doing something like this? Like what really froze you? Was it the fear of what people are going to say?
It was the fear of me putting out my personal stuff out there. And in my first episode, I'm like, you know what? I do want feedback and I want people to tell me what I'm doing wrong or if I'm doing something wrong or saying something wrong. But I'm like, give me a couple episodes and then you can tear me down. Like,
So you have an episode. She has a feedback measurement. Now in episode 4, you can tell me.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it actually episode 4?
So episode 5, I'm going to address all my feedback that I got from people so far.
That's awesome.
And my episode 5 is going to be like all about the feedback that I'm getting from people and what I'm doing wrong or right or...
Ooh, she's
whatever.
opening up Pandora's box. I don't know about that. So you've had some controversy, right? When you first launched yours.
Yeah.
And so kind of talk about that. Talk about some of the context of your stuff, because you actually talk about your work, right? And you talk about patient care and potentially physicians' treatment of others and all these things that people want to say, but they never do. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. It's kind of tricky because you don't want, you have to be very specific on what you say. You can't break HIPAA. You can't share people information. So every time you say something, I have to be mindful of not to share where I work, the company, or my patient information or anything. But I'm also putting myself out there, when I talk about these doctors and the experiences that I have with them, I have to go back to work. And I just have to be, I'm prepared to, work and still have the potential of them seeing my video.
Well, that's the epitome of what everybody runs into.
Yeah.
The ramifications of being truthful.
Yeah. And I actually got a couple of comments on Facebook because I keep adding my videos on Facebook. And I have comments and people are like, I am so glad that we're all feeling this, but we're all scared to say it.
Mhm.
There's people like, I would never feel comfortable, sharing this the way you are. And then they feel like, oh, this is so great. We're glad you're doing it. And then last night I got a couple of messages like, yo, it's like 9:00. Where's the video? Where's the bitching video? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm having a hard time uploading, because it took a while. So, and you have that.
This is
You should
great,
bitch
by
about
the way.
upload speed. That's your
No,
next
no.
episode.
No, this is funny. She's like, it took all night to get the thing uploaded. And she's saying, why isn't this uploading? This is driving me crazy, right? And I'm like, did you look at the file size? So her first couple, and this is, by the way, this is like the podcaster's worst nightmare. You got this video that's so big, you can't compress it and it's taking forever to upload. So she's spending, like, we went to dinner. It was done before we even went to dinner. We get done. She's looking at it and she's going, I don't understand why this isn't uploading. And I look at it and her others are like in the megabytes and this thing is 5 gigabytes. She's like, I don't understand. What did I do?
I had a lot to share.
She had a lot to bitch about.
A lot
to bitch about.
It actually was about the same size relative, right? But it had to do with video quality and stuff like that. So there's like little tweaky things that you can do to compress it to, to improve upload speed without compromising the integrity of it, right?
But that's great. That's a whole part of this process,
yeah.
Right?
I mean, I just want to point out that I am doing my bitching Wednesdays without my wine, which is against the law.
I just want to point out that we have this photographer. He's wonderful. His name is Jordan, but he really loves to be in every shot. So if you caught his ass in the last thing, like he just had to get some part of his body into the photography. If you watch our first couple, he's like
he's in the
strategically placed somewhere, and he was always trying to get, and he was getting great shots.
Shout
by the
out,
way.
Jordan.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So if you see Jordan's butt, oh, here he comes. So yeah. Yep, it's an action shot.
Oh yeah.
This is definitely worthy of something that should go on like Instagram.
Are you guys
Look at the workout on him.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like we're bitching about Jordan. We're
thing.
bitching about bitching.
Yeah.
We're bitching about everything. I love it.
What would you like to, if there's one aspect you want someone to gain from your podcast and then walk away with it, what would it be?
Feel comfortable speaking up and being yourself and like standing up for what you think is right. Just because somebody's a doctor or a patient, it doesn't make it okay to be mistreated. So respectfully, of course, always speak up and, stand up for yourself and others.
And then you can just be in a really comfortable spot that someone can communicate with you.
Yeah. And you get to a point where people know who you are and they know that they can't walk over you, all over you. And so even at I had a doctor make a comment like, I know Mina will put me in my place. Well, everybody should feel the way that he does. Just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you can, come in here
mistreat people.
People. Like, of course, I'm going to put you in your place, and not just you, anybody. Starting with my mother. If I can put my mom in her place, and she's like, baby
happens.
Jesus, I can. Nobody's off the list.
Your mother and your fiance, everything's good to go.
Yeah,
doctors.
Everybody's,
Yeah.
I got low on your goals.
Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble over that upload speed. It was great. So what I hear from you, right, is a lot of times healthcare workers in general are kind of mistreated. And a lot of times it comes from a lot of different angles, right? But a lot of it's patient care. You guys are trying to take care of patients. You're trying to make sure that their well-being is at the highest standard. And you're trying to do that. And sometimes they kind of don't treat you the best, right? So what's your takeaway message for people and healthcare workers? Because that's that kind of silent majority of people.
That's tough. I just want us, like in the healthcare field, just especially now with COVID and how awful it is. I want, like, this is an outlet for people to be like, okay, like I feel comfortable sharing my experience. It is your experience. Just because you work in the hospital doesn't mean you can't share your experience. And I want people to feel comfortable doing that. I want people to come like, you know what? I had an awful experience and this is why. You don't have to share patient information or whatever, but you have the right to express your frustrations and so you can have a good, like, well-balanced work and personal life.
Sure. So I was telling Shane a little bit earlier that you're getting comfortable with the podcasting, you're getting comfortable with being on film, which I'm really excited and proud of you about. Yes. But one of the things that, I told him was, the concern I have is she's an entrepreneur. She's a voracious entrepreneur. She just doesn't know it. And I'm like, I don't know if I just let the cat out of the bag here, but this is a lot of fun. And I'm really loving to see you kind of grow, right? And you've got 45 followers in just a couple weeks. You're getting a lot of traction and you're pushing it. And you really haven't started with engagement yet, other than posting on the days that you have, right?
Right.
So I think that's a testament to the fact that people want to hear what you have to say. And in general, people want to hear what healthcare workers have to say.
Mhm.
But really excited about your entrepreneur journey, and I can't
Thanks.
wait to see what this turns into.
And it's
Thanks,
cool
Dave.
because it's at the start, right? I think a lot of times you see people on podcasts and stuff, and everybody started somewhere. Everybody on a podcast, Joe Rogan, everybody started with one follower.
Yeah.
You know, so it's awesome seeing you do all this. And what's your link? What's your link? Your
On YouTube,
link?
Mina's Bitchin Wednesdays. If you just search Mina's Bitchin Wednesdays, Bitchin Wednesdays. It's not bitching, it's Bitchin Wednesdays.
Because it's not always bad.
It's not always bad. It could be great. And you have these awesome experiences that when people get transplanted and stuff, and you can share, or getting engaged or married or having a baby, whatever it is. There's so many things.
Awesome.
Perfect. So being a podcaster now, like you're officially a podcaster, you can say that. What are some of the learning things, right? Because when we started getting into it, people ask you and they get frozen in indecision. And it's like the editing, the sound, the lighting, all these things. What have you learned over the last couple bits? Because you're doing kind of all of it, right? You're a one-stop shop. How are you getting that all done?
I'm learning to use my computer and not just my phone, because I've been doing my phone. And I have learned last night that I have to compress my videos before I post them. It's just 101 kind of a thing. You just have to, but I didn't even think about it. I tried to keep my videos short, under 10 minutes, and this one went over. And so it took a while, and the frustration, and I feel like I'm letting people down, and it's like my third episode, and so it's just learning to, have it on time. And I learned you can schedule your videos. You can schedule to be posted at certain times. And I'm like, this is so great. I just have to compress them.
Right. But one of the things with a starting out person that's trying to do podcasting, or whether it's podcasting or YouTubing or any of that, all the tools are there, right? And they're user friendly enough where pretty much anybody can kind of figure them out and kind of improve iteratively. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So did you learn anything with the editing and all that sort of stuff as you were kind of doing this?
I did. My second video, I said anyways, 14 times, I feel like in 8 minutes. And so there's a really cool, thing that you can edit, and it's called iMovies on Mac, and you can literally edit all the anywayses, and it doesn't take long. But I had to use my friend Kayla to help me figure out how to edit, and I'm like, oh, this is easy. So now I'm like, oh, I can make myself look real good.
All right, do you have any parting words for us today?
No, you guys carry on, come on over and bring wine anytime.
Yeah, we can join your Bitchin Wednesdays.
As long as you have wine. I feel like I got ambushed on here. I don't have tequila or wine.
Whoa.
Bummer.
All right.
Yep.
Next time.
Next
Next episode.
We'll talk about it on the next episode.
All right. Well, this is
Thanks.
Shane and Chris with UrbanLink Media. We run a multimedia digital marketing agency, and we run a publication called UrbanLink Magazine. You can find all of this information on UrbanLink Magazine. If you have any interest in what we're doing, shout us out, hit us up. We're really excited. And if you need any services related to digital marketing services, we're around. All right. That's a wrap.
I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it. I'm ready to do it. I can't be afraid.